Hi students, today we're going to review inequalities, more specifically the solving of two-step inequalities. So first, something really important. When we are solving inequalities, especially when you are multiplying or dividing by a negative number, we have to flip the inequality sign. That means if it's less than, we need to change it into greater than. Or if it's greater or equal to, we need to flip it and change it into less than or equal to. Okay, now let's get into some examples. So first, number one. When we are solving inequality, we do it exactly as solving an equality. So we draw the line, and we start with a number that's further away, which is this plus 4. In order to get rid of it, we need to subtract 4 on both sides. So that is gone. We got r over 10 is less than 1. And next, since this is an over 10, the opposite operation, that's times 10 on both sides. Now that is gone, so we got r is less than 10. We didn't switch the sign because that 10 is just a positive 10. And if we want to draw it, 9, 10, 11, let's say that is 10. Since it's just less than, doesn't have equal sign, we need a donut. And since the arrow is pointing to the left, we're also going to point to the left. That is the first one. Now second one. Same thing, draw a line. The 5 is further away, so we need to get rid of the plus 5 by subtracting 5 on both sides. That cancels, we got n over 2 is greater than negative 2. Next thing, we do have a over 2. We need to get rid of it by multiplying by 2 on both sides. We got n is greater than negative 4. So now let's draw it. Let's say that's negative 5, negative 4, negative 3. Make sure the number is smaller on the left when you draw on the number line. And since it's greater than and doesn't have equal sign, so we draw a donut at negative 4. The sign is pointing to the right, so our arrow is also going to point to the right. That is the second example. Now number 3. Start the same way. We are drawing a line in the middle, and we start with a number that's further away from the variable p, which is a negative 2. So we need to add 2 on both sides. That cancels. We got negative 3p is less than or equal to negative 27. And next, we do have a negative 3 times a p. So we now need to get rid of negative 3 by dividing both sides by negative 3. And since we're dividing by a negative 3, make sure that our less than or equal to sign is actually flipped. So that sign now is going to become a greater or equal to, so p is greater or equal to 9. And that is negative 27 over negative 3, so it's just a positive 9. And 8, 9, 10. Since our sign doesn't have an equal sign, it's going to be a solid dot, not a donut anymore. And since our sign is pointing to the right, our arrow is also going to point to the right. Next, number 4. Draw a line. We start with something that's further away, so this 1. We want to get rid of it. We're going to subtract 1 on both sides. That's gone. So we got negative r is greater or equal to negative 6. Next, we do need to deal with this negative r. And don't forget, there's the invisible 1. So basically, negative r is the same as negative 1 times r. So we're going to divide both sides by negative 1. And again, we are dividing by a negative. So that sign needs to flip into less than or equal to. So the answer is r is less than or equal to a positive 6, since it's negative 6 divided by negative 1. So 5, 6, 7. Since it has an equal sign, it's a solid dot at 6. The arrow is our sign is pointing to the left. So arrow is also going to point to the left. Now 2 more examples. Again, draw the line, and this time we see, oh, that is 12r plus r. So we do need to combine it first. So we got 13r is less than 100. And then That is 13 times r, so we're dividing both sides by 13. That is gone. So we got r is less than 100 over 13. If you put in your calculator, that's a bit more than 7, but less than 8. So let's say that's our 7, 8, 9. 100 over 13 is around there. Our sign doesn't have an equal sign, so it's going to be a donut. And since it's pointing to the left, our arrow is also going to point to the left. And now last one, draw the line. Start with dealing with the minus 9. So we add 9 on both sides. They cancel. We got m over negative 16 is greater or equal to 1. Next, since this is divided by negative 16, we're going to times both sides by a negative 16. And now we see we're multiplying by a negative number, which means we need to flip the sign into less than or equal to. So that is gone. We got m is less than or equal to negative 16. So negative 17, negative 16, negative 15. Since our sign has an equal sign, it's going to be a solid point. And since it is pointing to the left, so our arrow is also going to pointing to the left. And that'll be all. Thank you.